Good Friday morning, everybody, and welcome to our Friday morning class. Today is conference day, so I will get to meet with just about every one of you. If not you, I will get to meet with your parents and remind them about tonight as being conference night, and this, actually not tonight, all day long and all evening long is conference night. I wanted to point out a few conferences that I have here. I know I have Brandon at 9:15, Fallon at 10:45, Aurora at 2:30, Danny 3, Carrie 3:15, Kisa 3:30, Rose 5, Alexis 5:15, Aiden 5:30, Sarah 6, and Reggie 6:15. And then Emma, I have you on Monday. So if you haven't gotten a conference, I keep sending it out to you guys. But if you haven't gotten a conference and you want a conference, just let me know. We can set up a time to meet with you. I want to make sure I meet with everybody that wants to meet with me. So let's start our class off like we usually do, and this is no different. Let's start off with our reading. This reading is called Chewing Gum Art. I know, like in school, in-person school, I know chewing gum is always the bane of some teachers' existence. So I figured, hey, why not just embrace it and just have a chewing gum art reading? And here we go. Here, there he is. There's a guy ready the big bubble gum. A new life for gum. What do most people do with chewed piece of gum? They throw it away in a trash can, we hope. That way others won't step on it. That sticky blob. True that. I hate getting gum stuck in my shoes. For the most part, the fun of chewing gum is over when they spit it out. But that's when the fun begins for Jason Kronwald. Some people see chewed gum as garbage, he says. But to me, and really just the fun is really just beginning or begun its life. Jason feels this way because he's a gum artist. He and other artists around the world chew gum to create works of art. ABCs of gum art. Artists today use all kinds of materials to make art. Some use clay paint, others use stone or wood, but some artists have found that gum is great for making art. Why? Because A, it comes in all kinds of colors. B, it has a special texture or feel. C, it lets artists get creative and turn trash into something. A rainbow of colors. Many artists would say that the color is necessary for making beautiful art. Gum comes in many different colors. Just like paint, gum can be red, blue, pink, green, yellow, orange, and purple, all the colors of the rainbow. This variety is important to some gum artists. Chew! People have been chewing gum, rubbery material, for thousands of years. The kind of gum that people chew today was invented more than 100 years ago. That's crazy. I think people have been chewing gum for thousands of years, or a version of gum. Yeah, that's it right there. Oh, poor guy. Sticky texture. Sticky, stretchy texture. Texture is also important to gum artists. Anyone who has ever stepped on gum knows it is stretchy and sticky. It can be soft. It can also be hard. This texture lets artists stretch and shape its use of gum however they want. Getting creative with trash. Artists are creative people. They are always looking for new ways to make art. For gum artists, it's an exciting to use material that people don't expect to see in art. They love turning trash into something beautiful. Blowing bubbles. Because of the stretchy, sticky texture bubble gum, people can blow bubbles with it. The largest bubble ever blown was 23 inches across. That's basically 2 feet. That's probably like half your bodies across. That's pretty impressive. Painting on gum. Oh, this guy's really into it. Ben Wilson, one of these gum artists, he carries a case of paints and brushes up and down busy London streets in England. He spots something on the ground. He stops. What is it? Ben has found what he's looking for. A chewed up, stepped on, flattened piece of gum. He creates tiny paintings on these gross wads of gum that people have spit out. Yeah, look at that. Look at the detail this guy does. Like a nice thin paintbrush. He's really down in there to get nice and close. See his color palette here. He's taking colors and painting different things. So that's impressive. Whoa, look at that. How it's made. After Ben finds the gum, he makes sure it's dry and hard. He uses a flame to help dry it. He brushes on a layer of clear lacquer to help the gum hard, make the gum hard. Next, he lies down on the ground with his paints. He paints a tiny picture on the gum. Finally, he brushes a layer of varnish It helps protect the colors and keep them bright. Sometimes Ben's painting take 2 to 3 hours. Other times, Ben will spend up to 3 days on one tiny painting. People in Ben's part of London used to see him stretched out on the ground, painting. After he's finished, the painting becomes part of the sidewalk. So Ben has painted more than 8,000 wads of gum. Which one is your favorite one on here? I don't know. Let me see here. I kind of like the Queen one. Yeah, I'm going to go with the Queen. You do your thing, Queen. There. Oh, that's cool too. Ben paints all kinds of pictures on the gum. He's painted his animals, painted animals and people, flowers and food. He paints tiny buildings, city streets, and much more. Sometimes people ask him to paint gum pictures for them. He's just happy to do it. Why gum? Ben paints on spit out gum because he likes turning trash into art. He says he wants to make something special out of something people find disgusting. But not all gum artists paint onto gum like Ben. Other artists like Jason Grunwald use gum instead of paint to make colorful art. Look closely at the picture. It looks like a painting, doesn't it? But it isn't. The picture was not painted. It was made of pieces of chewed gum. What? That's crazy. What is it? Jason Grunwald is a gum artist from Canada. He makes lifelike pictures of stars of famous people using chewed gum. Jason likes to work with gum because it's colorful, and easy to shape. Wow. Wow, that's impressive. How it's made. Unlike Ben, Jason doesn't add any color to the gum. The colors are mixed and made in people's mouths. Jason does not chew gum himself. Instead, he has chewers who make the colors. To make gum brown, Jason might ask a chewer to chew purple and green gum together. Jason collects the chewed gum from his team of chewers. Then he sorts the gum by color in his studio. Next, he puts the gum in water to make it soft. Ugh, so gross. Sometimes Jason lets the wood show through the picture. Here you can see part of the wood. Wow. He's not even using gloves or anything. Look at that. Ooh, gosh. When the gum is soft, Jason smooths it out on a piece of wood. He uses his hands or a small knife, finally cuts into shape in the gum to create a real-looking skin and hair and eyes. Why gum? Like Ben, Jason enjoys chewed gum because it's trash. He likes the idea of creating art out of something that would be thrown away. Jason mixes colors together to get his own picture to look just right. Other gum artists don't use different colors. Some, like Maurizio Savini, just use one color, pink. Whoa, that is cool. If you didn't tell me that was gum, I wouldn't have known. That's cool. Gummy sculptures. Gum sculptures. Maurizio Savini is a sculptor from Italy. He creates sculptures of animals and people. They're so lifelike that you might think they're real, except they're bright pink. What is it? Maurizio had a sculpture of alligators, buffalo, grizzly bear, and more. He uses thousands of pieces of gum for each sculpture. He spends long hours carefully creating each piece of art. Pink bubblegum. Bubblegum was invented by accident. It happened when a worker in a gum company was testing different recipes for gum. Without meaning to, he created gum that had bubbles. The only color that he had was pink, so the first bubble gum was pink. Today, pink is still the most common bubble gum color. That's a little cool fact. There's a porcupine. How it's made. To make sculptures, Maurizio works on gum when it is warm. He doesn't chew it. Instead, he heats it up with a hot air blower. Then he uses a knife and fingers to shape the gum into small pieces to create animals, fur, skin, quills. When he finishes the sculpture, he puts a chemical onto it and protects to harden the gum. Why gum? Maurizio loves to use gum and make art. He likes that it can be easily shaped into like clay. But unlike Ben or Jason, Maurizio only uses bright pink gum to make his sculptures. Colorful gum sculptures. U.S. gum artist Jamie Marici makes sculptures like Maurizio Savini, but Jamie uses many different colors of gum instead of pink. Jamie loves gum so much that he invented chew-by-number kits. The kits make it easy for kids to make gum pictures with gum they chew themselves. Now that is something I can get behind. No gum in the garbage bin. Jason, Maurizio, and other artists create something special what others would have thrown away. These artists enjoy making art, and making people smile. Their art might just inspire you to be creative before throwing something into the garbage. Chewing gum around the world. People in different countries chew gum, different amounts of gum. How much gum do you chew? In United States, the average person chews 180 sticks of gum. In the United Kingdom, 125. In Germany, 103 pieces of gum. In Russia, 84 pieces of gum a year. China, 20. In India, 4 pieces of gum a year. Wow, I put 4 pieces in my mouth at once. Trash to art. The artists in this book make art from what many people think is trash, using chewed gum. They not only are the artists who use materials from the trash bin to make art. An artist in India makes sculptures out of broken pottery, glass, bottle caps, light bulbs, and other garbage. A British artist uses car tires, magazines, and even clothes hangers for his sculptures. Still, others around the world have old metal computer parts and food containers. These artists, like gum artists in this book, want to turn trash into something beautiful. Hey, that's kind of cool. I mean, it's gross. Don't get me wrong. It's highly gross, but really kind of cool. So kudos to these guys and gals for turning trash into something useful. All right, so let's take a look at our calendar. Obviously, today is conference day, so I'll be meeting with you guys throughout the day. This week, make sure you complete any missing work from this week is obviously our very first thing, which we always say, complete any missing work. Lexia this week, I'm looking for only 40 minutes. 40 minutes of Lexia this week. If you get 40 minutes of ELA Lexia and 40 minutes of math Lexia, you will not have to do it next week. So there's your incentive. So try to get 40 minutes of each, so that way you don't have to do it next week. Same thing. Oh, wait. I was thinking scoop pad. Sorry. You need to have 40 minutes of Lexia always, right? Sorry. You do need 50 points of scoop pad. Sorry. Forget what I said. Forget what I said. Do what I wrote. You need 50 points of ELA scoop pad. Yes, if you get 50 points of ELA scoop pad, and I'm saying it right this time, if you get 50 points of ELA scoop pad, you don't have to do ELA scoop pad next week. And if you get 50 points of math scoop pad, you don't have to do math scoop pad next week. That's how it's how we do it, how we incentivize it a little bit. Well, let's jump into our sound and light lesson exam. So this is actually going to be in science. Let me open up a tab here, and we'll go into Canvas. Nose itching a little bit. We'll go into science. I got some things cleaned up on my computer, some files and things. My computer should be running fairly, a little quicker than it has in the past. Let's see here. It is the one that is due March 5th. I just need to check the date because sometimes I get the wrong date and things don't work out well when it happens. So this is called the Sound and Light Exam. So this is a 12-pointer. So it's probably like 3 quizzes combined or so. Sound and Light Exam. Let's preview it. You can see question 1 all the way through question 12 are all multiple choice. Question number 11 is kind of an arrangement one. It's still multiple choice technically, but it's a little bit more difficult. I want to kind of point out a couple things where you can find your information or find your slides that you can help do well on the quiz. And we can kind of start right here. There it is, right at the top. So anything that has a link on it, see that little chain link? I'd open up that one, open up that chain link, open up that chain link. And if you right click on it, you can hit open a new tab. Right click on it, wrong button. Right click on it, open a new tab. That's what I would do. So light and color, refraction of light, reflection of light, intro to sound, traveling sound, because obviously I'm looking at all the links there. Sound part 1, sound part 2, light part 1, and light part 2. And then that you should have all that should be opened up, so that way you can kind of go through those slide decks to answer the sound and light lesson exam. We are getting to the near end of the quarter, right? The end of the quarter is not today, but next week is the end of the quarter. And while I have a captivated audience here, to check your grades, right now we are still having an issue with PowerSchool. I will let you know when we don't have an issue to the PowerSchool, but your grades can be found by clicking over here where it says grades. That'll give you a grade for that class. Like right now, it's the science. you got to go to each class to find out what grade you have. Because we are missing some assignments that should be in the grade book that aren't transferring over into our actual grade book. But we're going to get that sorted out. We got a lot of tech people on it, and they're going to get it figured out. All right, so next thing is definitely reading. So this is reading, classic poetry, and quiz. Reading, classic poetry, and quiz. So let's go open up another tab here. Hit log in, and we'll go into virtual reading. It's the one little kid reading there. Hey, little kid. And we're going to the one that says March 5th. Load up. Loading. And it always does it. Like jumps me around all over the place. There it is. Where'd it go? March 5th. Reading classic poetry. Reading classic poetry. So these are the classic. These are like the ones that like people know, and these are the ones that are like well-known poems. All right. Here are some strategies, classic strategies. What approaches to reading can help you better understand classic poetry? Because sometimes classic poetry is hard to figure out. It is hard to understand. And here are some skills you can do. With your skills, skill with using context clues can help you understand and enjoy classic poetry, which tends to include words and patterns in speech that modern readers don't normally see. So using older words that we don't understand as well. In his third stanza, this poem uses a word key in a way that would be unusual today. Notice how the rest of the poem provides a context clue to figure out what the poem meant by key. So we're trying to find out, what does key mean, right? Not like key, I put it in the door, open the door, right? In this case, key means something else. Here it is. Oh, this is stanza 1, stanza 2, stanza 3. So stanza 3, the word is right there, key. A minor bird. Let me start over again. Starting over again. A minor bird. I have wished a bird would fly away and not sing by my house all day. Have clapped my hands at him from the door when it seemed as far as if I could bear no more. The fault must partly have been in me. The bird was not to blame for his key. And, of course, there must be something wrong in wanting to silence any song. So, with Kisa being a singer and Rose being a violinist, maybe they have some insight to what key means. So what is the experience? What experience does the speaker describe going on? What's happening in this poem? Well, the speaker is describing a time when he wanted the bird to stop singing outside of his door, and therefore he tried to scare the bird away. He tried, but the bird didn't want to go. What does the poet probably mean when he says there must be something wrong in wanting to silence any song? It can't be right to want to stop a creature from singing. Unless you're singing in my class. It's not. No, I'm just kidding. So, what does key mean? Key is in terms of not key sticking in the door. What key they're referring to is singing off key. Remember the bird singing? So singing off key. So you're supposed to sing at a certain level, your pitch, little high pitch or low pitch. Maybe this person, Robert Lee Frost, thinks that this bird is on the wrong pitch. Unscramble it. What's another strategy to what's another strategy to understand poetry? Sometimes the words are easy to recognize. They're just written in an unusual order. Using context clues to figure out the words you don't understand, one good strategy for understanding classic literature. Another strategy is to rearrange the words in a sentence so that they make more sense to you. You could write down the unscrambled sentence, or you can just change it around in your head. Which of these lines is written in a way that people rarely use today? How could you rewrite the sentence to make this sense to a modern reader? The fault must partly have been me. The bird was not to blame for his key. And of course, there must be something wrong in wanting silence in a song. Which line has the somewhat scrambled words that are out of order? The fault must partly have been in me. So how would you say that? Instead of saying, the fault must partly have been in me, how could you say that in modern phrase? Well, it was partly my fault, right? You've heard that before. No, it was partly my fault. Well, This, back when Robert Frost was alive, was the correct way to say that. The fault must partly have been in me. And now it's just, nah, man, it was partly my fault, right? So it's just going from this different eras of how people speak. I mean, shoot, my grandma can probably hardly understand some of you guys' Gen Z's phrases because, she's older. It's just a different way she speaks as opposed to you guys speaking. I know some of you guys even pointed out how Mrs. Templeton, how she spoke. Now, obviously, she has a quick cadence like me. She talks fast like me, but she was also using some bigger words, right? Because it's just a different level. Like you guys are 10-year-old. She's 25 years older than you or so. So, you think about that. That's a different language that we're using. And we're all using English, but we're using English slightly different. So this is called Reading Classic Poetry Quiz. You guys do need to complete that. I know it's already on there next. This is always one of my top favorite things. This and journal entries is always one of my top favorite things, and that is the discussion board posts. You're going to go into the one that has a Delaware Pacer logo, the Online Academy 2021. You're going to go into discussions, and you're going to go into mini mystery science number 20. That's next week's 21. You're doing 20 this week. So, mini mystery science. This one's really good. The reason why I chose this one is because I'm getting my second vaccination tomorrow, right? Yeah, Saturday. I'm getting my vaccination Saturday. So, after watching this, how do you think vaccinations work? Number 2, how can medicine keep you from getting sick in the first place? So, how does medicine prevent somebody from getting sick? Typically, you take medicine after you're sick, right? You go to the doctor, they give you amoxicillin, and they say, hey, drink this really good bubblegum stuff, and it's going to make you feel better. But how can medicine prior to being sick, how does that help you? How does that prevent you from getting sick? And obviously, I love this last one. What's the coolest thing in Doug's mystery box? All you got to do is click the link. It takes you right there, and there's your first question. This is Raj, and how do vaccines work? It's a really good one. So take your time, watch that, and then respond right here, Mini Mystery Science number 20. If I can struggle with the highlighting business there. All right, I want to make sure. So obviously any missing work, because we're coming up to the end of the quarter, you only have 5 more school days left to get all your missing work turned in. Lexia, 40 minutes. 40 minutes of Lexia. Scoop pad, 50 points. ELA scoop pad, make sure you get this 50 points. AL, the sound and light lesson exam, we talked about that. That's your science. Reading classic poetry, we just went over that one. And last but not least, for the morning part anyway, is the mini mystery science discussion board number 20. How do vaccinations work? Let's go on to our next slide. Yeah, transition smoothly. Bingo, 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 bingo. So, how do I want to start this off? Let's start off with math. Yeah, let's go to math. So let's go open up math. You're going to need your math workbook. And I know, Emma, we're still on the original workbook. We won't be on it much longer. We're almost done with the original workbook. So I'm sorry, Emma. We will be on the new ones that you picked up already. And Emma, I will email you this assignment. You can get it very easily just the way I'm getting it. If you just follow my keystrokes here, click virtual math. And then we go to, come on, scroll. I said a module 1 assignment 2. If I could find it. Did I say module 1 assignment 2? No, I didn't. Where's it at? Oh, where'd it go? March 5th, ordered pairs, March 4th. Module 1 assignment 3 is what I said. So click that, module 1 assignment 3, and it looks like this. So Emma, if you just follow those keystrokes, you'll have access to it as well. So this is graphing ordered pairs practice. Graphing orders pair practice. So this is something that we started off with doing yesterday in graphing some of these pairs. So on this graph here, what you're going to do is you're going to take these numbers down here, see these number sets, and we're going to put them on a graph. Okay? So let me see if I can get that. Let me see. All right, so I need to do, sorry, I'm trying to get this turned on. Obviously, nothing's going to happen because this is all pre-recorded, so you can't join another meeting in progress. Uh-oh. Oh, because I hit it twice. Let's see here. Can I need to get to the tools that they have. I'm trying to get to that. Let's see. Go ahead and start meeting. Hopefully it doesn't scramble my face. Don't scramble my face. Don't scramble my face. Don't you do it. Don't you do it. Ah, it didn't. Nice. Okay. Just click. Hey, now I have the tools that I'm looking for. Okay. So, first set of numbers. Let's see here. And I can do a couple with you. I'll do these top rows. That way we can get everything in here. So, let's start off with my annotator. Come on, annotate. Oh, there we go. And let's go with red. Alrighty, so first things first, we'll start off with this first one right here, 10 and 5, right? 10 and 5. So we start in the bottom and we find the 10, right? Oh, here's the 10. Okay, so this is the 10, right? This is the 10. Now we need to find the 5. We go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I will go, keep it straight, and that's the 5, and here is the 10. So where they meet is our first point. We'll call that point. Let's see if I can I'll remember where that point is, right there. There we go, and I can get these things off to the side. Okay, so we did 10, 5. All right, let's do the next one. The same way. I like doing that with the red and green. 20. So there's 20, and the next number is 1. So that's pretty easy, right? 1, 20. Bam. Let's make that one red. Whoa, that made that too big. I don't like that. Let's make it smaller. Dot. Come on. There's a dot. 20 and 1. How about let's do 15 and 0? All right, well, there's 10, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that's 15 and 0. We're not going up at all, so there you go. 15 and 0. Got him. I should probably color coordinate these a little better. Here, let's color coordinate this. Let's see here. Let's color coordinate. Might as well, right? Make that blue. We said 15. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Blue. Blue. It matches. Oh, no. We want that there. And we want that there. Move him up there. Let's get a different color. Let's go with this kind of maroony color. 1, 2. So there's 1, up 2. 1, 2. Bingo. Right? Oh, I'm excited. Let's do one more. This one's a little harder. Let's see here. Let's go to this kind of pinky color. 12, right? There's 10, 11, 12. Now it says go up 8, right? There's 12 right here and go up 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Bingo. That's how you would graph that one. Okay? Your job is to do the other ones that I haven't done so far. Do all these other ones down here that I haven't completed yet. Let's go to that next page. Oh, I gotta hit this button, don't I? Bye. You guys can always rewind it and see that again, right? Because, well, that's what you gotta do. Let's see here. Directions. Start off by finding the first 5 numbers in each sequence below by following the given pattern. Then make ordered pairs with the corresponding terms of sequences using sequence 1 first term. Lastly, graph the ordered pairs by making a point on the graph and labeling each point. Pattern. Sequence 1. Start with 0 and add 2. So, okay. I will do that. Honestly, guys, I will do the first 2 sequences. If you can't add 2s and 4s, get a calculator. Let's see here. Get that opened up. Annotate. So the first sequence starts at 0, 0, add 2, 2, 4, 6, 8. Change colors. Let's go blue. I can hardly read that, but whatever. 0, 4, 8, 12, 16. Alrighty. So, and now that wants you to graph these ordered pairs, right? So you graph these ordered pairs. So you're going to work down. So we'll call this one pair, and we'll call this 2, 4, another pair, and we'll call this 4, 8, another pair, and we'll call this 6, 12, another pair, and then we'll call this 8, 16, another pair. So graph those. Yeah, I'm not gonna graph them for you. I'll do the first one for you because that's easy. First one, 0, 0, right there. Bing. Done. Cross it off. Did that first one. But you guys do 2, 4, 4, 8, 6, 12, and 8, 16. Got it? Get it? Got it? Good. Woo! Graphing's fun. Graphing's fun. You get to kind of see some cool things when you graph. Okay. Stop sharing. I can get out of this now. Look at that. Keeps my face on there the whole time. Typically, it doesn't let that happen. Let's see here. Let's download this for Emma. Emma, again, you have this on by just clicking and going into those steps I showed. Well, you just follow the steps that I showed you, but hey, I'll email it to you. Is it only one of these? Did it get download both pages or just one page? Yep, it downloaded both. Perfect. So couple. Whoa, what's going on? Come here. Come on. Couple. Work. And bingo. Work for Friday. And sending sent. Okay. All right. Next, Brain Pop. Yeah, Brain Pop. I've been talking a lot, so I'm gonna let Brain Pop do a little talking now. All right. So we're doing Brain Pop. Logging in to the old Brain Pop. As you can tell, I enjoy Brain Pop. That's why we do so many of them. I think it is doing such a good job of simplifying things and putting it in understandable terms that that wouldn't otherwise be explainable. So here we go. Let's see if I can do that. Let's connect. Here you go.
Belongs in the museum, Vader. Man, I had the weirdest dreams last night. Ow! Moby, how many times have I told you I don't want the golden touch? It's a curse. His daughter turns to gold. Dear Tim and Moby, can you tell me about Mansa Musa and the Empire of Mali? From Shango. Hey, great name. Mali was one of Africa's greatest empires. It ruled West Africa for a few hundred years, starting in the 13th century. At the time, Europe was in what we used to call the Dark Ages. The Roman Empire had crumbled, throwing the continent into chaos. It was a period of endless wars, starvation, and disease. But in Africa, it was a time of peace and prosperity. Powerful empires built on trade created a golden age of civilization. And no empire was more golden than Mali. Yeah, at its height, the empire covered hundreds of thousands of square miles. Today, 9 modern-day countries sit on its former land, including the nation of Mali. The Empire of Mali was centered on the bend of the Niger River. It was home to millions of people. Trade routes connected them with the wider world. Camel caravans brought goods across the Sahara Desert from as far away as China. But the desert was an imposing barrier. It kept Mali pretty much a secret from the rest of the world. until 1324, when the emperor Musa I traveled north across the Sahara. Officially, he was on a pilgrimage, a holy journey to the city of Mecca. Every Muslim is supposed to visit the city at least once. Musa was religious, but he was also looking for some good publicity. He took hundreds of soldiers and thousands of servants dressed in silk, plus about 100 camels, all carrying saddlebags of gold. He stopped by Cairo, Egypt, then one of the world's leading cities, and met with every VIP he could, including Egypt's powerful sultan. There, Musa handed out so much gold, he single-handedly tanked its value. Rumors flew about this wealthy foreigner, the emperor or Mansa of Mali. People said that he was the richest man who ever lived. There's no way to compare, really, but he'd definitely be right up there. Western Africa was filled with resources like salt, copper, good farmland, and of course, gold. Meanwhile, Europe was going through a gold shortage, and they needed it to create their coins. So Mali did booming business. By some accounts, half of medieval Europe's coins were made from African gold. Oh, will you stop that? Anyway, all that bling definitely got Musa some medieval press. Right after his trip, Mali appeared for the first time on European maps. One French atlas shows Musa holding up a huge gold nugget. Meanwhile, Ibn Battuta, a Moroccan explorer, also heard the tales. He visited Mali and wrote one of our best accounts of the empire. Outside of the empire, lots of other writers mention Mansa Musa. They're how we know about the details of his pilgrimage, like how he set up embassies in Morocco, Egypt, and Spain. When Musa returned home, he brought back Islamic scholars, judges, and architects. He devoted himself to building institutions that could spread Islam, especially in his newly conquered city of Timbuktu. It grew into a global center of learning, attracting tens of thousands of students. Musa ruled for about 25 years, until around 1337. The Mansas after him, including his son, weren't great leaders. Provinces broke away, prompted by infighting and attacks from neighbors. And soon, a bigger threat appeared on the horizon. By this time, Europe had emerged from the Dark Ages and was beginning a period of exploration and conquest. Portugal's prince, Henry the Navigator, had heard of the wealthy king in Africa. He wanted direct access to Africa's gold instead of paying a middleman. By the late 1400s, the Portuguese had a trading post south of Mali. Other European nations followed their lead. For centuries, local kingdoms and empires kept the foreign presence to the coasts. But over time, European empires grew incredibly powerful. By the early 1900s, they had taken over most of the continent. Much of Africa's history was forgotten during this period. Amazingly, monuments to the golden age of Africa's empires would survive. To this day, libraries, universities, and mosques built under Musa still stand. Islam remains one of the two largest religions in Africa. And the stories of Musa and the Mali Empire live on, inspiring movies, comic books, plays. Now, what do you say? How about you take back this golden touch?
Pretty good there. But yeah, that's a really cool story of a true story of the golden era of peace and prosperity in Mali, all headed up by Mansa. That takes us to our social studies, in which is a country with problems. You know what? It's not in Africa. It is our country that had some issues during the growth and early stages of our country, and we're going to explore what some of those early problems were with the development of our country early on, kind of just after the 13 colonies were established. Let me see if I can get there real quick, and I did. There it is. Come on, there it is. Country with problems. Sorry, scrolled so fast I went straight to the bottom, and I wasn't expecting that. So, Civil War and Reconstruction, because after the Civil War, we needed to put the country back together in a way, in the sense of bringing back the South, bringing back the North, and bring back everything that was burned, destroyed, and also bringing back kind of feelings that were obviously deeply hurt during this time. So, whoopsie. We have a short little video here. I'm not going to play all of it, but we're watching this video to learn a little bit more about the events that took place between 1860 and 1900. This includes the Civil War, the assassination of President Abraham Lincoln, and his steps to revitalize our nation. I'm going to fast forward a little bit.
Lincoln had been inaugurated only a few days before the formation of the Confederacy. He declared that the United States had no plans to attack the Confederate States. However, U.S. forces would protect federal property, such as forts and military arsenals, located within the borders of the Confederacy. He sent provisions to stock U.S. outposts, including Fort Sumter in South Carolina. The Confederacy viewed the shipment of provisions to the military forts as a challenge from President Lincoln. Jefferson Davis responded by ordering Confederacy forces to shell Fort Sumter. It was an almost bloodless battle, but it marked the beginning of the brutally bloody American Civil War. Lincoln mobilized 75,000 volunteers for the Union Army as Davis continued to build the Confederate forces. In April and May of 1861, 4 more states seceded from the Union and joined the Confederacy. These were North Carolina, Virginia, Tennessee,
right here,
and Arkansas. The states of Missouri, Kentucky, Maryland, and Delaware, which now bordered the Confederacy, remained part of the Union. The Confederate States chose Richmond, Virginia, as their national capital. Strategically, this was a poor choice, because Richmond was very close to Washington, D.C., the capital of the United States, and yet it was too far away from the Deep South for Confederate forces to easily defend. In many ways, the South was in a weak position from the very start of the war. The resources at its command, whether human, economic, technological, or natural, were no match for those of the North. The North had a population of 23 million free citizens. Of the Confederacy's 10 million people, only 7.5 million were free. The rest were slaves. 90% of the factories were in the North. The railway network in the North was twice as large as that in the South. Military and commercial shipping, mining, and many other natural resources were concentrated in the North. The South had focused mainly on growing cotton and tobacco. Why did it take the Union more than 4 years to defeat such an enemy? Perhaps because the Southerners fought with passion, believing their independence and economic survival were at stake. The North stepped into the war half-heartedly. The United States still considered the South to be part of itself. Lincoln did not want to destroy the South, and he made it his goal to reestablish United States territorial unity. In his inaugural speech, Lincoln spoke of a house divided and said that it should be reunited as soon as possible. The first major battle of the Civil War took place in July of 1861 at the Manassas, Virginia Railroad Junction, a key strategic location because it directly connected the railroad lines between the Union capital at Washington and the Confederate capital at Richmond. Confederate Generals Beauregard and Johnston defeated the Union forces, commanded by General McDowell. This became known as the First Battle of Bull Run, which was the name of a nearby creek. The battle's outcome had a strong psychological effect. The South's morale soared, while the North's plummeted. The battle also revealed a major weakness in the Union Army. None of its officers had experience at high-level command. At the same time, the courage and tactical genius of Confederate General Thomas Stonewall Jackson became apparent. Jackson and another great Confederate general, Robert E. Lee, were responsible for many battle victories and for the South's overall success during the first 2 years of the war. In June of 1862, during what was called the 7 Days Campaign, the South won the Battle of Gaines Mill. This ended the North's ambitious plan to launch surprise attacks by sea and by land in order to capture the Confederate capital of Richmond. In the Battle of Antietam in September of 1862, the Northern Army gained the upper hand. But the Union officer in charge, General McClellan, did not take advantage of the South's retreat. Many Union soldiers lost their lives, and General McClellan was dismissed. He was replaced by General Burnside. At the Battle of Fredericksburg, in spite of the North's clear superiority in troops and equipment, the Union Army was beaten again, this time by the ingenious strategy of General Lee. Then came April 16, 1862, and the Battle of Shiloh, which ended without a victory for either side, but with a tragic loss of human lives. In this one battle, the combined losses of the two armies totaled 25,000 men.
So I could spend days watching videos like that. I know some of you guys are probably bored out of your mind watching it, but this is for me is really cool history because it shows our formation of our nation, its wars, its battles. In that one battle, 25,000 people lost their lives. Think about that, and these are just with old muskets. They stuff the jammer, down the musket, and they put gunpowder and they shoot. So it isn't like they had like automatic weapons or anything. They're just right out there on the field, which is really cool to see, but also very, very deadly. So were submarines used in Civil War? Absolutely. The H.L. Hunley was a submarine that the Confederacy used in a small part of the Civil War. Did it do anything? No. It wasn't great, but it was still something kind of neat. There was something that came from this. What's the Emancipation Proclamation? Everyone should know this one. This is when the Emancipation Proclamation was proclaimed that all slaves are freed, and it was signed on January 1st, 1863. And that goes along with what our prior lesson with Juneteenth we talked about. Folks in Texas didn't find out until June. So think about how long that message took to get there for something that important. So large country problems. How did slavery become an end in the United States? By the mid-1800s, the U.S. had become a large country. However, things were not going well at all. The people in northern states were fighting with the people in southern states. In the South, some white people owned very large farms called plantations. The owners grew cotton, sugarcane, and tobacco on his plantations. Slaves did most of the hard and heavy work. Plantation owners did not pay the slaves for their work, and slaves were not free to live their lives as they wished. The people in the North said that the people should all be free. They wanted to abolish or end slavery. Such people were called abolitionists. In the South, people said the Constitution allowed people to own slaves. The people in the South did not want the people in the North to tell them what to do. It made them very angry that the others would think that they had such authority. This problem was far more complicated than just the obvious question of whether or not slavery was acceptable under any circumstances, which obviously no, it isn't. The North. How did the North operate without slavery? In the North, farms were small, and the property owners were able to get all the tasks done without the inexpensive help supplied by the slaves. There were few slaves in the North. As more and more factories were built, northern businesses were increasingly successful. There were plenty of people who were willing to work in the factories for low wages, including children. That's another issue we'll have to get to. Yes, children were put into factories and to work, and many of them did not fare well. And slavery simply was not a way of the northern life. So, get my face out of the way there. That takes you guys to a country with problems quiz. Did I hit the button? I think I did. Something happened. There it is. A country with a problem quiz, with problems quiz, and it's 2 points. And the last thing here I need to talk to you guys about is going to be SCOOPAD for math. Make sure that you get all 50 points for SCOOPAD math completed. So many of you guys have some missing work that you need to get done. You guys have all the work from today that I'll review with you quickly. And also, I'm meeting with you guys today, or at least your parents. It'd be great if you could come as well to the conferences. If you rewind the video all the way back to the beginning, you can see what time your conference is. So just to recap, complete any missing work, whether it's math, science, social studies, language arts. So you only have 1 week left. Start looking for those missing work assignments. Lexia, got to have 40 points in Lexia. SCOOPAD, got to have 50 points. You get all 50 points ELA SCOOPAD. You don't have to do it next week. You have the AL sound and light lesson exam. You have your reading classic poetry exam. Make sure you guys do mini mystery science number 20. It looks like this: how do vaccines work? Then you have Module 1, Assignment 3 in Math, which is, this looks like this, the graphing ordered pairs. You can always rewind it and see what that is. I think it's page 7, I believe. We watched the Mansa movie, and last but not least, A Country with Problems quiz. Good, I am getting these videos a little bit shorter, so hey, 10 minutes shorter than what they normally are. So I'm going to go ahead and stop the video here, and I can't wait to see you guys later today.